Good evening. It is Wednesday, a little bit past 8 o'clock. It feels like we're in the Sahara Desert at the moment. It's pretty warm here in the UK. Is it Tuesday? Oh, man, I'm losing days. I'm losing days. It's me thinking it's Wednesday. It's Tuesday. In case anybody else thinks it's Wednesday, it's Tuesday. Yeah, like I say, the heat's getting to us. Heat's getting to us. But mustn't complain about it because it'll be winter before we know it. So, welcome to ModCons, episode 8, I think, or 7. 7. I'm no good with numbers, let alone days.
You don't know the day of the week or the number of the episode. You're off to a good start.
It's a cracking start. There's too much going on in my brain. That's what it is. There's too much to talk about tonight. That's what it is. Cool. So, yes, joining this evening, normal panel, we have Mr. Triangle Face Tim. It feels like it's been ages since we've had you on.
I feel like I've not been on the stream for a while, actually. So, yeah, it's good to jump on and talk games.
Yay. It's good to have you back. Mr. Blunners.
Hello everyone, me again.
How do? So thank you everyone who's joined us in the chat. We've got a few people in already, which is awesome. Mr. Taylor, always wonderful to see you, sir. Middle-aged gamer guy, yes, great to see you too. Yeah. Mr. Nick C, good to see you there. Welcome everybody. Mr. Dorbs, greetings to you as well. Right, we have got a whole bunch of stuff to talk about. So much in the modern gaming world has been happening over the last couple of days. We've had obviously Summer Game Fest. We've had the Sony's showcase. We've had Xbox's showcase. There's so much to talk about. But as always, we will kick it off with what have you been playing? So, Tim, it's been a while since we've spoken. So, what have you been playing lately?
So, I have been playing Spider-Man Miles Morales on the PS5.
Good choice.
Which I'm really enjoying, but also I'm glad that I didn't play it straight away because I only just finished Spider-Man on the PlayStation 4 when it came out. Mm-hmm. I was like, I'll wait to play that for a bit. I've been holding off on it. And as good as it is, it just feels like a continuation of the last game. It feels like more like DLC than a whole new game.
Yep.
It's a similar map, and they've just put, and I think I heard a lot of feedback of that when it came out. A lot of people saying it's good, but because I gave myself that long break, I played a bunch of other stuff. And now I've started it, I feel like I've given myself a break from that game to enjoy it more. But yeah, it's really good. It's got all the elements of the last game I really enjoyed. Obviously, we'll get on to some of the announcements. We're looking at Spider-Man 2 coming out. So it's good that I've started it. So, hopefully I'll finish this one and then look to get the next one because those games have just been great. Really enjoyed the first Spider-Man. And one thing I really like about the Miles Morales one, and it's a subtle thing, but I really enjoy the attention to detail. And I've noticed this in like Into the Spider-Verse and some of the other stuff I've seen Miles Morales in as a character. And when he's web swinging, he often looks like he's falling over. Like he's not as like graceful as Peter Parker is because he's new to being Spider-Man. And when you're web swinging with him, a lot of the time he looks like he's gonna fall and he's like spinning round and then you kind of web up again. And it's just that attention to his like movement. You can see it's a different Spider-Man. I just really enjoy the animation they've done to kind of make it feel like you're really Miles Morales, not Peter Parker, have that distinction. So that was good. But
you can hold the button, Tim. You can hold the button down. Different button combinations makes you do different kinds of swings.
Yeah. You can do like tricks and stuff as well, can't you? Yes, yeah, and that's cool. So I like doing that sort of stuff. It's one of the few games I'm like, why would you ever fast travel in that game? It's so satisfying to web swing around. Like if I've got a mission at the other end of the map, I'm like, I'm just going to web swing over there and pick up any collectibles on the way and stop any crimes on my way there. And I'm going to make my way over there. Like I don't want to fast travel in those games. That's what I explore. But talking about the heat and everything, I think now I've started playing. One of the reasons I moved on to that is coming out of what I would call like a VR season. It's now too hot to put a headset on and play VR games. I'm like, no, I'm going to have a break from VR now because we're getting into the summer. It's really warm. So I'm going to sit down and play a console game where I can sit down without a headset on and a fan pointed at me, I think.
I think Rager in the chat may disagree with you on the...
VR, well, good to see it. When I definitely find personally that I go through a bit of a season where like, right, I'll play VR for a bit. And I'm like, no, too hot. I need to stop so I can take a bit of a break.
Excellent.
Yeah, that's me. Actually, Miles Spider-Man.
Excellent. And yes, I totally agree. It is a superb game. I did feel a bit cheated when I paid £60 for it as a PS5 launch title. But it was still a great game. Yeah.
I don't know how much I paid for mine. I got it when I got the PS5. I got a few games with it. I don't think the Miles Morales game is that much. I think it'd come down in price quite a bit. But yeah, agreed. If I'd paid £60 for that on launch, I think I'd be disappointed because I left it and I've got it cheaper and I've had a bit of a break from Spider-Man. And I feel like it's worth it. So yeah, I'm really.
But did you get? I think we got Spider-Man 1 digital with it because my son played Miles Morales when he. Bearing in mind, he must have been about 7 or 8, and he completed it, and then he went back and played Spider-Man 1. Because
there is it's like a special version that came with a digital code for it. If you just got the regular one, it doesn't.
Yeah, I don't think I've got that with. Seen that
because they reskinned Peter Parker as well because it's a different Peter Parker skin in Miles Morales. So if you've got the digital one for PS5, they went back and put the new Parker's face over old Spider-Man so that it had continuity, which is kind of cool. But yes, excellent. Last thing before we jump onto anything else as well, because Miles Morales, I feel like it gets such a bad rap. Feels like it gets a bad rap, but they did. There was like originally it was a performance mode or a graphics mode. So it was either 30 frames but really nice graphics, or 60 frames with, I guess, not super duper graphics. And then they did a patch which meant you could do both. You know, oh, that would have been great to have had the patch at launch, but so I just had to play a whole bunch of it again just to see it in super duper and nice 60 frames. So if you haven't done that, do that as well. Mr. Blunners, what have you been playing?
So pretty much since it come out, I've just been playing Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. I've also played a bit of Evercade, so I played a bit of the Team 17 kart. We spoke on the other episode what I've been playing on that, but I've gone back to like the buggy game. But Tears of the Kingdom, I just don't know where to begin. I've been playing for about 30, 35 hours, and I hadn't even touched the main story yet. I basically just went around, had to get every single bit on the map. Obviously, I don't want to spoil it for anyone, but there's a higher map and there's also a lower map. But so I was then flicking through, and I had to do the fairy fountain. So the Great Fairy, had to do like the missions for that. So I wanted to upgrade my armor because I kept getting my ass kicked, like one touch and you're like dying. So but the way it's completely different this time with the fairies. You have to like find that because they're all hidden away. You have to find make a little cart up with the music people, find them and take them to each fairy fountain. But each one you get to, you'll then unlock the level 2 fairy, the level 3 fairy, the level 4 fairy.
Okay.
But also there's a little game-breaking glitch, but I haven't updated one yet because you could say you need something, you can just float. This is what happened before the update: is that you could just jump off of it, get your paraglider out, hold 5 things, drop it off, quickly come back into your pause menu, hold another 5 of it, drop them off, and basically you were just duplicating your items. It was a glitch. You could just land and then you could just suck up all these items again. So yeah, it was a bit of a game-breaking glitch, but
wow.
And it's weird because you haven't got like the last one. You'll start to get better swords, but in this one you can, because you'll basically keep fusing your items. So like you'll pick up a sword that's crap, and then that comes like at night you'll get one of the hands that moves. That ups your weapon by like 15, 10. So you'll just confuse it to your weapon, and then you've got a strong weapon. And then when that breaks off, you can just recycle and do it again.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's another thing I keep forgetting to use is obviously before you see something, you climb up it. You want to climb up all the time, whereas on this time you can just go straight under and ascend through the bottom of it. So that's something you have to. So when you try to unlock some of the towers, you have to use that ability a couple of times.
Yeah.
So for a while you're outside thinking, how the hell do I get in here? But so yeah, I made a bit of a mistake. I've basically just been hammering like the hearts, got myself up to like 13 hearts, and then I read I wanted to get the Master Sword before I go and tackle the castles and that, and like the bosses. And I've realised you're supposed to you need stamina, so you need a whole wheel of stamina. So I'm like, shit. So now I'm having to try and find out these temples again to then try and get 4 of each before you can level up your stamina. So it's a bit of a slog, but like I saying, there's so much to do. Now they've got you've got all these abilities where you can build stuff. You just got to try and remember that you can now fuse things together, and then you can, like, things you can't get up, you can now do. So yeah, it's so good. It's so well made. It's so well thought out. It's just brilliant. It's just and the fact that they've done this back on the same kind of map, you still don't really realise you're back in the same map. But I could talk about it for ages, but it's up there. It's very well made. Like 7 years did we wait for this one?
I think because I've put a pin in it and I haven't picked it up at launch, I'm going to hold and I'm going to see whether or not I can get to it maybe after the summer, which sounds like an eternity away. But there's just so many massive games at the minute that I'm sort of either playing or about to play that I've figured I'm just going to hold fire on that one. And then I'll end up deep diving into Zelda just maybe after the summer, just when the kids go back from summer holidays or something.
Yeah, just leave yourself plenty of time to play it, because it's so good. It's just I loved the first one because I didn't know anything about it. I literally stayed away from any videos, absolutely everything.
Jenna's down here.
I ended up just finishing finishing the game and then going back to it and then putting another like 40 or 50 hours in and everything I've missed. So it is a massive game, but yeah, it's one I can't stop playing. And it's one of them games that you're thinking about, like, shit, what do I need to go next? What bit? And you're thinking about it when you're not playing it. So that's the testament of how good it is, because I'm trying to think about what I should do. Where should I go? Because like you're saying, I'm not in a rush. I love to always get the whole map. I do the same in the Assassin's Creed games. I go around, get as much of the map as I can to start. Then I try and do little side missions to power myself up. So when I come back to the normal missions, I'm good to go. I'm strong enough. So yeah, it's
amazing.
It's very good.
We're going to have to do a Zelda special, aren't we? I think at some point we're going to have to do a Zelda special where we talk about all of them. Yeah, amazing.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, and basically that's all I've been playing. Can't get over anything.
To be fair, it's not a mass amount different for me, except it's just a different universe. So I am still mad into the PS5 version of The Witcher. I am really taking my time. I still haven't done Act 1 yet. And I think I've been playing for about 37, 38 hours. So I am just doing all of the funky side missions to get all the little trinkets, all the little extra costumes, the better armor, the better weapons, and just really taking my time with it. Not that I didn't take my time with it the last time, but I'm just, really, really relishing this one, because this will probably be the last time I play this game, I think. So I've just done literally nothing but play that. I played a little bit of some Switch stuff when I went away with the family on holiday for a little bit in the evenings. So I've been playing. Believe it or not, I had put off playing Bowser's Fury for a really long time. I have played, did Super Mario 3D World. Got everything in that. I've done all the other Mario titles, but Bowser's Fury, there was just something about it. I was like, I'm going to save that. And I started it on the plane to Greece, and I was just, it's so good.
Yeah,
it is
brilliant.
So good. I can't believe that they've managed to build that game using that engine, and it really gives me some hope that there will be a fully open world Super Mario game. I think that there will be, and it will really work. That game is proof that it could work really, really well. And I've picked up. This was a recommendation from Radical Reggie ages ago, and that is Road 96. It's sort of a bit cell shady. It sort of reminds me a lot of Firewatch. He said it's just a really good story. It's got lots of interesting twists and turns, and it's just another one of these really good emotionally driven story games. You're like, yeah, I'm into that. They can wreck you. Oh, I see Ryan's put in the chat that Siobhan's completed it. Siobhan's always on these games, man. She's always on the really, really like good emotional story games. So yeah, I'm looking forward to starting that as well. Yeah, there's just so much. There's so much to do, so much to get through. So yes, everyone is playing something quite exciting. Yeah, it might not be the 96th game in the series there, but yes. Okie dokie. So, what do we want to start with? Do we want to start with the PlayStation showcase, or do we want to start with the Xbox showcase?
Oh, we could flip a coin for that.
Go on. Who's got a coin? Heads PlayStation.
Suggest for the coin. I don't actually have a coin.
Oh, I tell you what, I actually have a coin in front of me here.
Yeah.
There we
coin
go.
in front of me here. So heads PlayStation, tails Xbox, and it is tails. So yes, Rhaegar has called it there. We are going to talk about the Xbox. Sorry, middle-aged gamer. We're going straight in with Xbox Showcase first. Now, I literally only caught up with the Xbox Showcase today. There's still a few things probably that I have yet to see that have been announced and all that kind of stuff. But I've seen the main body of the presentation and obviously the Starfield presentation at the end, which they classed as sort of like a dual presentation, I guess. So the first game in that really took me by surprise, and I was kind of hoping they would show something, but maybe not too much. And I really wanted a bit more gameplay. I don't think there's any gameplay in the trailer, but the first trailer was Fable. Big fan of the Fable series. Fable games are great. I even like Fable the Journey, the Connect game. I think that's really good. It manages to blend all the good bits of Elder Scrolls, but with just a few smatterings of adult humor. So I do like that a lot, and I think that the trailer for this one was a pretty big home run, actually, even though it was mostly cinematic. But having Richard Ayoade as a giant was just that really did take me by surprise. Seeing him be a giant, I thought, oh, this is cool. That's something I've not seen in Fable. I don't have Fable done giants. I don't believe they have.
No, I think it looks like it's got like a Jack and the Beanstalk kind of thing going on as well, with the beanstalk going up. So,
yep.
Yeah.
That just looks incredible. The lighting seems to be really good on that. I don't think there was anything gameplay footage wise in the trailer, which is fine, but I found a lot of the Xbox trailers to kick the showcase off were all cinematics, which I was a bit okay. But yeah, Fable. I'm dead excited for Fable.
Yeah, I can't wait because I've got all the others. I've got like the big box of the third one, which you crack open. It's got like everything in it. Yeah, I just can't wait for this. I just hope it's more of the same. Like you said, in the adult humor, I just remember the gargoyles like mouthing you off. Do you know what I mean? It just reminds me. It was brilliant. It was such a good game. And you had the choice between good and evil. You had the choice if you wanted to be good or if you went into places and everyone ran away from you. So yeah,
I don't know which one it was. I was playing a Fable game once. I just remember the voiceover just going, "You are now evil enough to use the middle finger expression." So that's the kind of game it is. Yeah, absolutely agree with that.
Yeah, so I'm dead looking forward to that. I think next year could be the year that pushes me into buying an Xbox. I'm always teetering on the edge of picking one up. This is the first time in a couple of generations that I've not gone totally multi-console. But I think from the Xbox showcase yesterday, and I think that they've got some good stuff coming now. I think.
Also,
another one.
Is it Game Pass exclusive? Is it Game Pass exclusive?
I don't know about Fable if it's coming on Game Pass, but there's a couple they've announced which have said they're going to be coming straight to Game Pass.
Almost everything I think is going to go straight to it as well, which is really good. So yeah, if you're a Game Pass subscriber, you're going to get a real good deal coming up. South of Midnight, I think it was called. That one, again, it's another cinematic, but it's a new IP. It looks interesting. It's got a bit of like a sort of Southern American sort of vibe about it, sort of like the Bayou, that kind of thing. I don't know much about it, but the trailer was enough to sort of pique my interest, so I was kind of intrigued by that.
I'm quite pleased to see lots of like new like titles, because I feel like for a long time all we ever seem to get is like franchises and like the third, fourth game in a series. And actually, the Xbox announced there's quite a few games there, which is like a new game and a new title. It's not kind of a continuation of existing franchise, so that's quite refreshing to see.
Yep, definitely was. There was 33 Immortals, which apparently is a 33 online multiplayer co-op game, which I thought, that just sounds bananas.
That sounds crazy.
But graphically, I think it's very much in the style of like Hades, so it's a little bit pulled back, a little bit reserved, which is cool. Payday 3, that kind of took me a bit by surprise.
Yeah.
I thought Payday
Yeah.
was done and dusted, but apparently not.
So did I.
Apparently more Payday is where we're at. That's what we need. So that was cool. Persona 3 Reloaded. Did people really want Persona 3 to be remade? I don't know. Maybe they did. I have no idea. Anyone in the chat? Persona 3, is that anything that anybody wanted? Considering Persona 5 is still very, very much played and
Dorbs needs a
enjoyed.
payday.
Need a payday.
He needs a payday so we can get payday.
Yeah.
Oh, right, payday 2. It's big.
Still being played on PCs. Okay. So there's still a huge market for payday.
Okay.
Intriguing. Avowed, that was kind of cool. That was a little bit darker, a little bit more mysterious. The big one for me was the Cyberpunk DLC, Phantom Liberty. That for me is going to be a big tick. I loved Cyberpunk. I was very lucky to not have too many bugs with it at launch. Very excited to dive back into this universe and this world and see what CD Projekt Red have got lined up for everybody. Really, there's that little part of me that really, really wants the PS5 physical disc. So maybe if I hold back until all the DLC's been released, there'll be a one-stop shop disc with all the DLC on it. Yeah, there's a few people in the chat there saying they thought Cyberpunk looked good. I thought it looked really, really cool. I know Dorbs was a big Cyberpunk fan. He really enjoyed that. So having some DLC where he can dive back into that world again. Runner's Edge.
Do you think I still haven't played mine yet? I said
Cyberpunk?
I've bought it. I just haven't had a chance to play through it.
Oh, dude, yes, you gotta get on that.
It went dirt cheap. I think I got this off the marketplace on Facebook for £10.
Yeah,
£10. So it was like one of them. I just thought it's not in my plans to play at the minute, but I want to play it. £10, I'm buying it. I don't care.
Yeah, it's worth it. It's a fantastic game. Now it's all been patched as well. It's like I said, I didn't have too many issues with it at launch anyway. So, but yeah, there was a lot of people had some issues with it. So, but yeah, totally on board with it now. I'd say now is a great time to be playing Cyberpunk for the first time. And then it's not really an elephant in the room, is it? It's Starfield. That was half of Xbox's presentation. Do you know what? I actually find the idea of Starfield incredibly overwhelming. It looks amazing. Like I can't even describe the technical achievement that appears to have been created with this game, but it's just there's something about it that feels incredibly overwhelming, and I don't know if I'm alone in that. That concept
looks massive, doesn't
it? Yeah, 1,000 planets or something that we can travel to.
It's crazy.
And
exactly what we were saying. It's like it reminds me of No Man's Sky, but better. I just hope it's not as empty, because I found No Man's Sky a bit empty. You go, you just fly out, you go into these different and you land, and it's just like, there's no one here.
I think a lot of people found that, didn't they? That was like a lot of the feedback on No Man's Sky is that I think they've done a lot of updates and patches since when it first came out. A lot of people saying like it's just too big, and it's like you go to planets, there's nothing to do there. You supposedly could bump into other people, but it's never happened. I think like for ages people just couldn't find each other. So it is a very good concept. I really like the idea of it. So if this game pulls it off, where No Man's Sky, I think maybe it's a bit harsh to say No Man's Sky failed that, because I think a lot of people do like it. It's got a fan base now, and it's kind of got better, hasn't it? And they've added VR and things like that. So it'd be interesting to see.
Yeah, see,
definitely one to watch, isn't it?
I was in the minority camp that quite liked No Man's Sky. Just at launch, I found it a very relaxing game. I didn't get stressed with it because there wasn't really much stress about it. It was just land on a planet, explore it, scan the fauna, scan the flora, sort of take in the sights, fly around the planet a little bit, build up some resources, go to a space station, upgrade my ship. Like I don't know, I found it quite relaxed, and I quite enjoyed the original No Man's Sky. But I haven't been on it since all the major updates where everything's changed, where you can like build bases and do third person. And all that. It's been years since I've been in that.
Looks like Rega's put a comment there saying there are like 23 updates on No Man's Sky,
Wow,
which is crazy. Yeah, so it's definitely been added to quite a lot. I just remember those initial reactions to it, saying like, "Yeah, it's just too empty."
Yeah,
yeah.
But the thing with Starfield that looks like Bethesda have nailed is the combat, and Bethesda sometimes the combat can be a bit clunky. They really seem to have nailed combat in this. It sounds like I'm being like a real downer on it, but I think it is just simply because I don't think you can just sort of just gloss over Starfield at all. There's so much. There's so much to talk about with it. You could probably do podcasts just on the customization. You know, the level of customization that you can do in that game as well for your character, for your ship, for your weapons, and that's before you even consider, well, what planet am I going to go to? I don't know. And I've got one of 1,000 to choose from. It's just colossally huge. Unless they make it. Sorry, go on.
I was just saying, do you think, because Bethesda games, you know, they're a bit launched, they're a bit clunky, they're a bit like buggy as hell. After all the drama we had with Cyberpunk, do you think they'll be able to get away with putting out a game that isn't finished? Do you know what I mean? Is that why it might have been delayed beforehand?
I don't know. I could see them delaying it, but I also know that they've been working on it for ever. And I know CD Projekt Red were working on Cyberpunk for a long time as well, but I can't see Bethesda launching it broken. You know, a day one patch is almost inevitable, but I can't see them launching it broken. I agree, Middle-aged Gamer. If they do it, it'll ruin them. I'd argue that that's very possible. And considering Microsoft have pumped all that money into them to buy them and have them as a almost Microsoft exclusive studio.
And the thing as well with, like, you know, mentioning things like Cyberpunk and No Man's Sky, I feel like both those games were massively hyped. Like, I saw so much promotional stuff for Cyberpunk, they plugged it so much that then when it came out with loads of bugs, I think it got a lot of unwanted attention at that point. I think this is obviously, if they spent half of the showcase talking about this one game, they're obviously plugging this as their main thing, aren't they? This is something which we're probably going to be seeing a lot more trailers for, loads of announcements, and I think it's going to be massively hyped. So it's going to need to come out without bugs. I hope, you know, for everyone involved's sake, that it doesn't come out really buggy. I think a few like issues here and there are forgivable, but if it comes out like really badly buggy, it's not going to go down well.
It won't, and that will hinder. I think that will hinder sales of Xboxes, because this is one of those games that can shift a system. You know, it's not going to be available on PlayStation. It's not going to be available. I don't think it could ever be available on Switch. It will probably come to PC, but ultimately Xbox is going to be the experience that they've built this for. So I think this game will shift systems, but I think it'll only shift systems if it launches pretty solid. It's like I think I've just said so many times, it's so overwhelming. Graphically, it just looks absolutely mind-blowing. I cannot believe they've managed to make a game this big and have it look as beautiful as it does. And they were talking in the development that they've gone deliberately for a sort of, I think they called it NASA punk aesthetic. So everything has got function in terms of, there's, you know, particular drives for your ship that look the way they look because it's functional, and then they've gone all out on the sort of aesthetics to sort of finish the ship off, and that's the punk element. You're like, that's cool. I like that. NASA punk as a, I could see that becoming like a new sort of trend, a new sort of thing, like the new Blade Runner type thing that everybody went for. It's just insane. I think I need to watch the presentation again to really take it all in. So yeah, sorry, was that Starfield is locked at 30 frames? Surely not. Surely they're not.
That can't be, can it?
Is that what they're doing? Are they locking it at 30 frames to keep it nice and solid? Shit. Oh, on Xbox.
Yep, on
not
Xbox.
Dang. Hot dang. Okay. Well, I mean, at least you won't know what it looks like in 60 frames unless you got it on PC. I definitely need to watch that presentation again. I think it was just, yeah, it blew my mind, and I think it is going to be the game that people really, really talk about and hone in on. But it's just overwhelming. Maybe it'd become like a game that people play, really solidly and hardcore for maybe like 100 hours, and then you just go back to it. Because I've always got these little games that I just go back to and play for 4 or 5 hours every couple of weeks or every couple of months, and I still get enjoyment from it. Sort of like GTA Online. Maybe that's what it will become like. Eventually, people just go back to it and just keep playing a new bits here and there throughout the rest of the console's lifetime. Maybe that's the way to get longevity out of it.
I just hope it is really good, just for Xbox's sake. Really, the amount of money they spent on it. I just hope that
like I say, it could shift some units, couldn't it? Yeah. If it's good, it will shift.
They need a big home run. They really do need a big home run for that, and hopefully Starfield will be it, because it looks incredible. It will certainly get me to buy one if it's that good. So, I think that was probably it for me from the Xbox showcase. I'm sure there'll be some other bits that we've glossed over and not dived in on.
One thing I wanted to shout out quickly was that the oil rig one, Still Wakes the Deep, I think it was called.
Yes.
I thought I'm quite intrigued by that. I think it was only a short teaser trailer. Yeah, not an interesting setting for looks like it's going to be a bit of a horror game. Don't know if there'll be anything supernatural in it, or you're just sort of fighting the elements and on this oil rig in the middle of a storm. I don't know, that one could be interesting. And again, it's another one because there's loads of those games that are going to be on Game Pass. So I could check it out, give it a try. If I don't like it, I could move on to something else. But we'll definitely see about downloading it, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I thought that one as well. Looked like Bioshock. Put a clockwork.
Yeah, I think a few people were possibly looking at it and hoping it was Bioshock. Because there's all this chatter, isn't there, of a new Bioshock in the works, and like, there was a little part of me that thought they'd bring it. One of the studios would bring it to the showcase, but apparently not. So yes, we'll have to wait and see whether or not another Bioshock is actually in the works or not.
But so, how did you feel the presentation was?
Just jumping on middle-aged gamers comment there.
See that one,
yes, a perfect match made in heaven. I think Sea of Thieves fits the Monkey Island idea so well. It's a very cool idea, and I really hope that works, because Sea of Thieves is another fantastic game that continues to be genuinely good. So, yeah, fingers crossed.
I think the fun thing with Sea of Thieves again is that's one of those games that you do just keep coming back to. Like I've got a group of friends who sometimes jump on it, and every now and then I was like, "Do you fancy jumping on Sea of Thieves for a bit?" And you can just jump back into that game with a few mates and just grab a ship and go off treasure hunting or whatever you want to do. Yeah, I think that game has got really good longevity. How long did that come out now?
Oh,
that's been out for ages, isn't it? Yeah, it's a long time ago that came out.
It's rare as well, isn't it? Is it rare?
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
new rare, can we say?
It is. So a good shout there, Mr. Gamer. Very good shout. How do I think overall the presentation was pretty good, actually. I felt like it was more concise than they're used to having. I would like some of the earlier stuff to have been less cinematic and more gameplay. But overall, I thought they did a really good job of bringing all these titles. Obviously, not all of them are going to be Xbox exclusive, but certainly bringing the titles that they did bring. A really good job of getting developers to talk a lot more about it as well, allowing the people that actually built these things to talk about the game that they built and that kind of thing. So, I thought the presentation was really good, really, really good actually. How did you feel?
Yeah, well, I thought it was really good as well. Like you said, I wanted more games. I wanted to see what they were bringing to the table this in a couple of months and over the year and that. So I'd give it a 7, 8 out of 10. I'm quite happy with it. I thought it was good.
Yeah, really good. Mr. Tim, what do you feel with it?
I think the thing that I'm most pleased about is there's a lot of games that just come into Game Pass. There's bits like here have lots of content, and as I mentioned earlier, there's a lot of like new titles. It's not just like this 3 and this remastered. We're getting a few other franchise games, but getting quite a few new IPs out there, which is really, really cool. So I would say 8 out of 10. For me. I was quite happy with it.
Yeah, for sure. And I think Xbox needs some good new IPs because I've never felt outside of Halo, Fable, Forza, I would say those are the Xbox exclusive games that people go for.
And you know as well, the last few I've not played Halo. What was it, Infinity? Yeah, downloaded it onto my Xbox. It's just sat there. I've not played it yet. I played like the multiplayer, I played the campaign. But the last few, I think I've been burned by the last couple. Like, what was the last few we had? There's Halo 4.
Halo 4 was good. Guardians was a bit.
Guardians? Yeah, the last couple of ones I just didn't get on with. I felt like the campaign modes, which I normally really like the story in the campaigns, they're just quite short and it's ended really quickly. So, yeah, I'll give Infinity a chance. But
no, I liked it. I thought it was quite good when I played it. Played it for quite a few hours, and then I think the new Forza Horizon came out. So I literally just jumped over to that. But I was jumping between both. Yeah, I thought it was quite good.
Whenever you see like Forza and Gran Turismo kind of trailers for those sorts of games, they're getting more and more realistic, aren't they? Like now, if you just look at a Forza trailer, you cannot tell that you're not just watching cars going around the racetrack. It's crazy, isn't it? It looks so good. I'm not really a racing game kind of guy, to be honest. I like Mario Kart and stuff. I've never really been massively into Forza and Gran Turismo, but whenever I see a trailer, like, you've got to admit, it does look good. It looks really
Forza Horizon, mate. It's always where it's at, Horizon, because because it's open world. It's so good.
It's got a little bit of an arcadey vibe, hasn't it? Forza Horizon. That takes a huge
flying around looking for them barns. Looking for them barns everywhere, like just flying around the woods.
Yeah,
it's good.
Yeah, yeah. I'd agree with you guys. I would say it was a good, solid 7, 8 out of 10. Some good new IPs. Yeah. I think I would love to have seen another coloured Xbox. That would have been a one for me. Some more peripherals.
Do you know, I bet it's odds of what will happen is I'll eventually go, you know what, it's time, I'm going to get an Xbox Series S, and then a week later they'll announce like a limited edition, like branded Xbox Series S. I'm like, God damn it, I know that's going to happen. That's always seems to happen to me. I'm going to hold fire for a while. I'm quite happy with my PS5 for the time being.
It's a solid system, that one. Okay, so jumping into the other side, the PlayStation showcase. This, I think, it's definitely got one of the games that I am probably the most anticipated for of this generation, and we will come to that at the end because it was the last of theirs. But yeah, I felt this had a lot. There was a lot of content, a lot of what felt like new IPs, or certainly some new ideas for certain games. Yeah, what were some of the standout ones from PlayStation for you guys? What did you make of it?
Definitely the thing I'm most looking forward to is Spider-Man 2. I've been looking forward to Spider-Man 2 since the last Spider-Man 1. Like that game on the PS4, because a lot of stuff was set up in that plot. And there's a few big, heavy-hitting Spider-Man characters that weren't in that game. It's like, they're going to introduce them in this one. So they're going to have like Green Goblin, surely, in this. And obviously, from the trailer, you can see that you've got the Venom symbiote involved, and you can switch between Miles and Peter. I'm all in from this already. And yeah, the last two Spider-Man games have been great. So more of the same. Hopefully, they'll have, like I said earlier, the difference between Spider-Man and Spider-Man Miles Morales wasn't significant enough. That's the only real flaw I can see with Miles Morales. If Spider-Man 2 gives us like more features or different game mechanics, then I think it's going to be brilliant. That's definitely my top takeaway from it.
Excellent. Mr. Blunners, aside from the one that Rhaegar has said in the comment, which we have to talk about on its own separately, was there some stuff that jumped out?
Yeah, Alan Wake 2. Oh, mate,
Yes.
it
That
looks so
does
good.
look
It's just
special.
like, yeah, I originally thought it was like some sort of new Resi or something, and then when they was like, and then I obviously see the characters and that, but just yeah, brilliant. I loved it. I thought it looked absolutely amazing. Like you said, it was gameplay as well, so it wasn't like, do you know what I mean? It wasn't like this isn't gameplay kind of thing. Also, Assassin's Creed was on there. Got its
Yep.
release date for the 12th of October, and I said when I was watching it, it looks more like the old style combat, like the latest ones are more like your triggers, where back in the day it was you'd get more into like cutscenes kind of thing, and it kind of looked like
Mhm.
it was more like that kind of fighting. Another one on there was a game called Plucky Square. It
Mhm.
was like in between like a 2D and a 3D. That looked very good. Like a cartoony, cell shady kind of game. Um, Another random one, which as we spoke about earlier, Foam Stars. To me, it's just an absolute rip-off. They want to jump on the bandwagon of Splatoon, but I
Yeah.
understand because in Japan, Splatoon is a monster out there. Like it
Mhm.
just sells loads, bucket loads. But there's just so many. I was saying that Nova game. There's a game called, is it Nova? That looked really good.
Yeah.
Um, it was like a I can't remember what the game was called back in the Wii with the wolf. Oh, what was it called? Like Okami, was it? It looked a bit like that game.
Yeah. Okay.
It. What else they got on? Obviously, they showed Fighter 6. Dragon's
Yep.
Dogma 2 looked very good
Yeah.
as well.
That's been in
Five
the
Nights
works
at
for a while,
Freddy.
hasn't it?
Yeah, I know.
The
And you're just
Dragon's
hoping that
Dogma.
it's not a. But yeah, but then I was going to say what Dorbs has said on here. We're looking to go back to that
Ah,
later.
yes.
Or do you want to tackle it now? But
Yeah, we could tackle
yeah.
it now because I don't like it. Yeah.
So I
Alan
don't
Wake
like it. I
2.
can't believe it's digital only. That is like, are you having a laugh?
Yeah. Yeah. Alan Wake 2. This is gonna set a precedent, I think, personally, moving forward. This is a big title that a lot of people are excited about. It's a huge AAA title, and it's going to be digital only. There's a little part of me that thinks, is this the start of the end now? Is this the start of digital only games coming? I guess we'll just have to wait and see, because I mean, Cuphead was digital only for a real long time. Then that got a cheeky little physical release with all the DLC. I don't know. There's a little part of me that maybe thinks Alan Wake 2. Of course, it's going to sell. It's going to sell. Is it going to sell really, really well? I don't know. The
It's the
people,
price
the
of
people.
digital games for me, isn't it? It's the
Yeah,
price for them. For some reason, they're more expensive. And like, unless you can wait months and then are on a sale.
Yeah. That's the thing. So I've always felt like if you're going to buy the game, it's better to have a physical release. And then if you've got digital, I'm happy if I've got like a subscription service like Game Pass and things like that, where you're paying a subscription to access the service. Whereas with all the different closures we've seen in all these stores, if I have to pay the same price for a digital release, where at some point they could just take the store down. Want to be for like another 10 or 20 years, but they might take the store down.
Yeah,
Because if you've got a disc, you're not going to lose it.
it's like
So
Nintendo, isn't it? It's like Nintendo. They
yeah,
keep like all these consoles, like the 3DS, have just switched it
yeah,
off. Do you know what I
yeah.
mean? So all them people, you can't re-access or re-download any of
Yeah,
them games you've bought. So
Mhm.
you really
yeah,
just
and we've seen
throw it
that.
down
We've
the
seen
toilet.
like a wave of that, right? There was like Nintendo have
Mad.
done it, like Sony's done it with like the Vita.
Yeah.
You've got like the Wii U. Was it the Wii U shop closed
Yeah.
recently?
Wii U one
Things
did,
like
yeah.
that. So it happens. So if you're paying the same amount for a digital download, that there's a fair chance you're not going to get to keep it. Whereas a physical, you're always going to have that.
And do you own it? Is always my
Yeah.
argument with the digital
Yeah.
side of things. If you
Yeah.
pay £60 for a new game digitally, do you own it? Is it yours?
And that's
Can
why
you?
I don't mind the subscription service, because actually
Yeah.
you don't own it. You're paying to access the service and you're paying
It's
a
like renting.
subscription.
It's like
You're renting it.
Blockbuster, isn't it?
And that's fine, because I feel like that is a more like upfront transaction. Like you're going, okay,
Mhm.
you're paying a subscription, you can play all these games, but we can change what games you can access, we can move these things around. It might go. Whereas if I'm buying a digital game outright, it's not clear. Like I say, do you own it, or could they take it away at some point?
I just can't. I can't let go of this physical thing. I mean, obviously I'm a collector, so I like to have the physical product, but there are reasons behind liking the physical product. There's it's yours. I can then take that product. I can go to Tim's house and say, Tim, here, borrow this game. It's absolutely incredible.
So what Torb said there.
Yeah, exactly. What happens if you locked out your account? That happened exactly with Microsoft. Was it this year, last year, when the server went down, and people couldn't access digital games that they had paid for? It wasn't just the Game Pass subscription that went. It was anything that was digital you couldn't access. All right, so it was only a blackout for what? Christ, I don't know, a few hours. But that's a few hours, and if those few hours are the only time you get to game, so like me, I generally get to game in the evenings when everyone's gone to bed. If all of a sudden I can't access a thing that I've paid for, I think that almost tells you straight up, doesn't it? You don't own it; it's not yours.
I mean, I don't mind so much if it's like I'll make an impulse buy if I see something especially like on the Xbox. There's a lot of stuff on the dashboard which 80% off or something with like gold numbers, and you can get some really good discounts and things. You might impulse download something which is like 80% off. You pay a few quid and you've already got it. The game's just downloading. You can start playing it straight away. So I don't mind digital downloads in that sense. But when it's a new release, AAA title, and it costs the same amount of a physical release, I don't think that's an option I want to go for.
It's definitely made me think that I'm probably not going to pick up Alan Wake 2 straight away. I can quite comfortably and happily wait. I've waited this long. I can wait longer to see what they do with it. Because the other thing I don't like about digital-only games is they control the price. There is no secondary market. So therefore, Alan Wake 2 could be £70 forever. And that I really don't agree with whatsoever. I mean, yes, there will be sales. I'm sure there will, because they want people to buy more of the thing. But ultimately, if they control the market in terms of what the game is worth, value-wise as well, not saying they're going to. I'm just saying it's something they can do. Then that is also not great. That's not a good thing. The secondary market, secondhand market video game thing is big business, and that could put people out of business. It could put people out of love with gaming if gamers don't get to control the secondhand game market. Like, I don't know. I just think digital only is a bad way to go. Personally, certainly for console gaming. Anyway, I know PC have had Steam and that people have been on, having no physical games for ever. But console gaming is about convenience. It's about just putting it in, playing, and that's my console for the next 7 years. It's, I don't know. This could be a topic we talked about for a whole stream.
Yeah, definitely.
It's a discussion I'm sure we will have again. But yes, Alan Wake 2 being digital only scares the shit out of me. But never mind. So some of the PSVR 2 stuff, was there anything in there that really sort of jumped out at people?
I think other than, like, I know Tim's already played Resident Evil 4, but where it's the actual new still singing and dancing version.
Yeah,
I'd like to see how it plays.
See, the problem with that is because I've only recently played Resident Evil 4 on the Oculus Quest. I don't think I'm going to jump back into that game so soon, especially having already played it in VR. I'm sure it's great, but it's probably going to appeal more to people that haven't played Resident Evil 4 on the Oculus. It's just a bit of an odd choice, to be honest. It's like, if they're going to do that, why remaster and do a VR version of a game that's just had a VR release? But it does look cool. I think, I'm intrigued to get. I do want to get a PS VR 2 at some point. So it's good to see that library increase because there's not a huge amount out for it yet.
Yeah.
So it'd be good to see some more games coming out.
Was it Arizona Sunshine? Just pulling up that because I remember that looking like a lot of fun. That was a zombie shooter, wasn't it?
Yeah, I've got that on Oculus as well. Actually, no, I've got that on PS4 because it worked with the aim controller. You know, the aim controller you got with Farpoint. That works on Arizona Sunshine, so I particularly picked that up for that. A bit clunky though. It doesn't some of the like the collision detection or picking up items and stuff didn't work great, but it's quite a fun game.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that one like it could have been good fun. Resi 4. That looks it's Resi 4, isn't it? I still haven't played Resident Evil 4 remake, so I thought they might have shown a bit more of Resi 8 in VR because I know they've announced it and they've shown a little bit, but I was hoping they might have shown I don't know, something that makes me feel like I need it, you know?
Yeah, I have deliberately not played 8 yet because I absolutely love 7 VR, and I was like, when they brought out 8 and it was first person, but it wasn't VR, I was like, what? Why is this not VR? Like, it was so good in VR. So I've held fire. So now if I can get to play it for the first time in VR, it's going to be worth the wait, I think. So I'd hold off just so I can experience it for the first time in VR.
I would agree. I haven't played Resi 8 in VR. Resi 8 is a great game though. Castle Dimitrescu in VR will be
massive.
It's going to be something.
That's why I need to play it for the first time in VR. I want to go straight in with the VR experience. So absolutely.
That would be cool. I'm agree with you guys. Spider-Man 2 looks top. Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater remake. I mean, sign me up. Metal Gear 3, man. It's
I did like 3. 3 was great.
It's a big staple game that everybody loves. And people have kind of gone, are they going to start remaking all the Metal Gear games in order? Is this going to be their test to see whether people love it and want it? And if so, is this going to be the start of remaking from here? Then it'll be Metal Gear Solid, then Metal Gear 2, Sons of Liberty. Like, I don't know. It's possible. And I'm sure they're re-releasing all the Metal Gear games again. So I think was it called the Master Collection Volume 1? So being able to play original Metal Gear Solid again on PS5 will be very cool because it's a great game. So that would be really exciting. The one that I was speaking to you guys about before we get onto the big title, Lies of P. I mean that looks unfucking real. It looks so good. So good. If people in the chat haven't seen the trailer for Lies of P, watch it. It looks so good. It's sort of like a real dark take on Pinocchio, and it looks breathtaking. Absolutely breathtaking. Catch Meryl. Shocking behavior. Shocking. But I don't know if you guys managed to catch the trailer for Lies of P, but that one was a big tick.
It reminded me like Dark Soulsy, like, but it did, as you said, it's got an 18 rating and it does look very good. Very good.
Yeah, very Souls-like, just very dark and macabre. Totally on board with that. So people in the chat, go check out Lies of P, LIES of the letter P. And just there was that part of me that was like, come on, you've got to show Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. You have to. You can't not. Like, we need a date. We need something. I know we got the gameplay trailer a while back and the title announcement and all that good stuff, but man, I just wanted something, and it just felt like we got that Final Fantasy VII. I can't think what it's called now. The one that's coming out on iOS and that kind of thing. And you're like, okay, fine. That looks fine. Like, and it really did feel like they weren't going to do anything else. And then they just hit you around the face with the Rebirth trailer. And of the and I am biased and I don't care. Of the two showcases that we've seen so far, and of all the trailers that we've seen so far, Final Fantasy Rebirth just took it for me. Absolutely stole it. Graphically, it's so stunning. It's beautiful. I'm excited. I'm excited.
I'm just waiting for the comments from Dawes in the chat going, "No, it was trash, garbage." He's not said it yet. I know he's going. He's probably itching to.
It's coming.
Slack off. There we go. There it is. Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll be completely honest. I know we disagree on the remake. I was a little bit disappointed by the Final Fantasy VII remake, possibly because I was too overhyped for it. I was really looking forward to it, and for me, I prefer the original than the remake.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm happy to have this sort of turn me around. So I'm not going to get too excited by it because I felt like I got too excited for the first one, and then I played it. It's like, it's okay. But the original was like my favorite game of all time, and the remake is just like, all right, it's not really in my top 20, you know. So yeah, I'm going to try to not get excited by it, and then hopefully enjoy it more. If you know what I mean. If it's digital only. Yeah. I'm obviously going to play it. I'm not going to not get it. I'm going to have to get it. But as a big fan of the franchise, but yeah, I'm just going to try and not allow myself to get too excited by it.
Mr. Blunners, how did you feel? Or are you sort of more in the? It's all right.
Yeah, I'm more of a. It's all right because I wasn't as into him. I played him, but I wasn't as into him as you guys were. But I can understand how people were because it was good and I did enjoy it. But I don't have that nostalgia for it. But I'll have a look and check it out.
Yeah. I think that the thing I really enjoyed about the first one was going to all the locations that you played in the original, but being able to look around, like being in the reactors and looking up at the ceiling and looking down on the plate and all that. That was brilliant. And all the bits of the game that were directly lifted from the original, I thought were great. The thing I didn't enjoy about the game was all the extra bits they added in. Just felt like they just padded out the game unnecessarily to spread it out. And I just kind of hoped that now, if they did up to Midgard, didn't they? So they've led Midgard, and that's the rest of the game. I feel like they shouldn't have to pad that out too much and include loads of content to make a decent length game. And I just hope they don't chuck in a whole bunch of let's look for some cat missions and find the 7 missing orphans. I don't want more of that. I just give me the original game, but in that style with that new combat. We'll see how it goes. I'm sure it'll be fun.
They absolutely will do that. You know that, right? There's definitely going to be cat missions and finding orphans and everything that there was before. I think we've sort of gone. Oh, jeez. I think we've gone slightly more in that sort of way, haven't we? So Blunner says, "Yeah, it's all right." Tim's like, "Yes, I really liked it." And I think I sit the next level up because I do. Yeah, I think the Final Fantasy VII remake, the original one, was the title of that generation, the PS4 generation for me. Final Fantasy VII remake takes it. I think it's
there's also one thing we also forgot to talk about, and that is the new Sonic game.
We'll come back to that.
Superstar. Yeah, that was.
We'll finish on Sonic. We'll finish on something retro inspired anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, the thing I like with the remake, and then obviously what they're going to continue with Rebirth is, it's not technically a remake. It's just sort of it's done like a J.J. Abrams Star Trek. So the original Final Fantasy VII exists. It still exists, even with this new remake that's going on. And yeah, there's definitely some little tidbits in that trailer that made me think they're going to keep doing this. There's going to be these little surprises here and there. They're sort of insinuating that Tifa's dead and that this person with us in our current clan isn't Tifa. So I'm kind of all in to see where that goes. But that for me was the game of the showcase for both. It was and then it announced early 2024, which normally means by April, and it's going to be on 2 discs, which again is just that's going to be big. That's going to be big. And it's also a cool little nod to, I guess, the original sort of older Final Fantasy Final Fantasy games from 7 onwards has multiple discs, so it's kind of cool. Yeah. So yes, and then Mr. Blunners, as you say, there was Sonic Superstars.
Yeah, it kind of looked like Sonic Mania, didn't it? Like
it did.
Like a second one or something.
I really enjoyed Sonic Mania as well. So I definitely feel like Sonic should be 2D. Like Sonic Frontiers 100%. Was like, it looks right, but it just doesn't appeal to me. If I'm playing Sonic, I want it to be 2D. I've never really bought into the 3D.
It's actually quite good.
games.
Frontiers is actually quite good. I'm still only played it for a bit, but it's what I've played. I've enjoyed. It's good.
I still have it there. Got it on a Black Friday deal. Still haven't played it, but it's something I do want to play. My son tells me it's fantastic. So, and he's quite a big Sonic the Hedgehog fan. So I don't know why I'm putting it off, but I agree. I agree with you, Tim. It's seeing Sonic in 2D is kind of the ultimate Sonic, I think. So yeah, having a new sort of 2D, 3D, because it's got that sort of Donkey Kong Country Returns type look to it.
I quite liked Sonic Generations. That was pretty good. I thought that was quite a fun little game, actually. That was on the 360, right? So yeah, that was a good one. That was, I didn't finish that. You did. You were playing that live, weren't you?
Yeah, it was hard. Yeah, it was harder than what you think. Yeah, it's harder what you think.
It was super hard. Okay, and then very quickly, because we're edging into that hour territory now. Mr. Blunders will know a bit more about some of this content, but Nintendo's online content for people that have your online accounts. There's been a few additions to that, hasn't there, recently? Oh, you've on mute, Mr. Blunders. Still muted. There we go.
There we go. Yeah. So no. Yeah. Off the top of my head, I'm trying to remember what they were. They were. Where is it? Here it is. So basically, you get like your free games. They're not always like massive hitters like you'd get on your Xbox or your PlayStation. But what they have released is Harvest Moon from the N60 from the Super Nintendo. There's a Kirby Game Boy Color game, Tilt and Tumble, and then is it Blaster Master on the Game Boy Color? So that's a good good one. And 16 Mystery Tower, which I'm not sure. I've never played that one before. I think it's more of a Japanese only title. But Harvest Moon's a big game that everyone has played before. Yeah, but I think they're just going to drip feed us games. Now they've got this luxury of having like all these libraries to just pluck games from. I think they're just going to slowly drip feed us these games and maybe chuck the odd decent one in there. So yeah, Kirby Tilt and Tumble. I vaguely remember that, but obviously it's no Kirby's Pinball, is it?
It's not, but
no.
we can let that one run, I think. Yeah, I mean that online service for Nintendo just seems to keep getting better and better. They're always adding cool little things to it. It was a price tag, I think, which a lot of people at first were like, but they just keep adding to it, and they keep adding what Nintendo does best, and that's adding those classic big Nintendo titles that people are still desperate to keep playing today. So it's a good shout from them. I'm just firing up what is on PlayStation Plus and Games with Gold. Not that we should really even bother mentioning Games with Gold, really.
It's not even close, is it? Each month we're like, no, not even close.
And it's always two games that I've never really heard of either.
The thing's always like every now and then I do think to myself, like, well, I keep on thinking every now and then, I go, do I want to keep paying for Game Pass? Because I'm not really playing my Xbox at the moment. I'm playing my PlayStation, or I'm playing my VR headset, or playing on the Evercade, or whatever it is I'm on. I'm not really using my Xbox much at the moment. And then when I think about it, I think, well, actually, I use online services, so I'm still going to want Xbox Gold. And the price difference between Gold and Game Pass, when you look at the free games, is like, I don't know whether they intentionally put out naff games to make you think, well, I might as well pay that a little bit more and get Game Pass and get these day one launches.
Oh, I do. 100%.
Do you know what I mean? It's just like, I don't think the Games with Gold thing is really worth it, to be honest, because I love the games. I don't think I've played a Games with Gold game in possibly even years. It's like, I'll play Game Pass games, but I just don't think they get very good titles.
So with that then, Games with Gold this month is a game called Adios and The Veil. Never heard of either.
No.
Adios says, one choice can change everything. You are a pig farmer in Kansas who has finally had enough of your role, helping the mob dispose of bodies on your farm. Your hitman friend tries to convince you to change your mind as the two of you go about errands of the day. Yeah. And then The Veil, which I have not heard of either. The Veil has a huge description. Again, it's not a game that I've heard of. Maybe it's an absolute belter, and I'm not giving it the attention or service that it deserves. It's always possible. But then you flip over to PlayStation Plus and you see what their free games are this month. And their free games are NBA 2K23, which it's not my thing, but if you're big into basketball, that'd be cool.
Is it 2K23?
Yeah,
so it's like one of the most recent ones. That's really good to get it.
And
I thought it would have been at least like 22, but they're giving us 2K22.
I don't know if you've seen the graphics in them games; they are unbelievable. But it is a massive transactions paywall, like most of it was. So it was like, do you know what I mean? It's just that was the only thing that ruined it. But the actual gameplay, the actual look of it, it's amazing.
Oh, hang on a sec. I've clicked off something there. I believe the other games are Jurassic Park World Evolution 2, which is a
pretty decent
semi-newish game. It's certainly been out for about a year, but yeah, the Jurassic Park World Evolution games are really, really cool. So yeah, I've got that all ready to go. And the next one, and I don't want to butcher this, but I'm going to, Trek to Yomi. That is a game that Ali from 16 Bits and Bobs was talking about a little while back. If you like Ghost of Tsushima, that sort of thing, anything that's set in that sort of era, Japan, samurais, the game is set in black and white. Its default language is Japanese. You get subtitles. It just looks like it's a piece of art. It looks absolutely incredible. So I've got that downloaded and ready to go because I'm going to pick up the physical for it at some point, I'm sure, but I really just couldn't pass on giving that a little try with
that does look good
with my PS Plus.
And talking about like the value you get and the price point on it all, I think Jurassic World Evolution 2 alone is like 50 quid, and it's the free game this month. How much does it cost for the year worth of PlayStation Plus? It's like it's a no-brainer.
Yeah, it's a good deal because Sony they still don't have that solid infrastructure yet to do I know that they are doing it where you can do their version of Game Pass, but it just doesn't have the same clout and the same gravitas that Game Pass has for it. So having a tiered subscription service for them works, and I think it works quite well because people like me.
I have looked at it and I've been like, there's not enough in the library, because you can go on, can't you, see what's in the library. There's not really enough there to make that, actually I really want that, I'll pay the extra. I think if I ever did, I probably would get rid of Game Pass. And I kind of feel at the moment Game Pass and then using the PlayStation Plus is about right, because I'm getting just the PlayStation Plus games, not the full subscription, and then Xbox have got Game Pass, but I feel like both of those are quite good value for money.
Agree. Yeah, really agree. There's lots of cool games, I think, coming to the next sort of tier of PlayStation Plus. So what have we got? I think January they added Jedi Fallen Order, Axiom Verge 2, Fallout 76. February, Evil Dead game, Destiny Beyond Light, Mafia Definitive. March, Minecraft Dungeons, Battlefield 2042. It's getting there, but it's just not a Game Pass, I
think I'd love to see if they could put more of their back catalogue up. I think that would appeal to a lot of people. They could put PS1, PS2 library stuff up there. I would definitely be down. If they said, right, we're now just going to put a whole bunch of PS1 and PS2 games on there, I'd be all over that.
Yep, without a doubt. Without a doubt. Cool. I think that about takes us up to everything we wanted to chat about. I know Dorbs has put the question in there. Have you seen the new Star Wars game? Which one? Is that the one that is on Xbox? Which one was that called? It's just literally in the showcase. Is it called Outlaws?
Yeah, I think so.
I think it's called Star Wars Outlaws. That
Yeah,
looks
it
kind of
does.
cool.
It looks really good. Yeah.
Yeah, always good. Star Wars games just generally are always pretty decent. I haven't played the new Jedi game, but I know Dorbs has got that. He picked that up from Harry recently.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I played the last one. So what was before? So the current Fallen Order. I can't remember the last one was called. But the same character, like third person.
Yes,
the Jedi. Yeah. But yeah, that one was really good.
I would be able to tell you, but it's behind the other games over there. I can't think what it's. Yeah, someone in the chat. What was the last Jedi game called? I can't remember. But yeah, that was excellent.
Fallen Order, was it?
I think it's Fallen Order, not the last one. Is the new one called something else? I think we got it the wrong way around.
Yeah.
I think Star Wars Fallen Order was the first one of that franchise.
Okay.
I don't know what the
I
other
totally
was.
got that all wrong.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Dob was saying Fallen Order. So what is the new one then? Can't remember.
Either way, it looks cool. All the Star Wars stuff looks cool. But what is your favourite Star Wars
Jedi
movie?
Survivor, that's the one.
There we go.
Jedi Survivor. Yeah, there we go. That's it.
But what is your favourite Star Wars movie? I mean, now that is a hard-hitting question. It's a tough question that we don't answer today. But yeah. Okie dokie. I think we're about there. The only thing I will say is I really wished the Sony one had Silent Hill. That was the only thing I felt was missing. I know we had the Silent Hill stream a little while back, but that feels like a lifetime ago now. It would have been killer to have had some gameplay for Silent Hill 2, the remake. I think that would have been the icing on the cake for me. But never mind. Hopefully we'll get something soon about that. Hopefully we'll get something soon. Wow, Dorb's going in hard with The Last Jedi as his favourite Star Wars movie. Rogue One, good shout. It's got to be Empire, hasn't it? Isn't that the best Star Wars movie? Whoa. We could upset a lot of people here.
Big debate. Yeah, big debate.
We could upset a lot of people here. So that will be a topic for another time, maybe.
Yes.
Excellent. Well, thank you everybody in the chat for joining in. It's great to see everybody here. As always, thank you so much for all of your comments coming through. I always feel that these don't come quick enough and soon enough, and then all of a sudden there's so much stuff to talk about. So, yes, can't wait for the next one. I'm sure with the next one there'll be even more stuff to be talking about. But yeah, so thank you everyone in the chat for joining. Thank you both as well for coming on and getting these discussions going. There is so many games to be playing, so many new games coming out that it's just there's just so many. There's just so many. Yeah, awesome stuff. I'm going to. Oh, go on.
Get even Dorbs in VR one day. Rager's player.
Yeah, I'm definitely down for doing some more VR, but we have to get the rest of the panel headsets. So you got one, haven't you, Planners? You got a headset. In fact, don't you have access to it as well? So, and your son got one. You can jump on. I'm sure we can get something in VR chat. It is
Excellent.
Good fun.
It is good. It is really, really good. Right. So before we leave, we've got in July, there is the Nottingham Video Games Expo coming up. Mr. James Jarvis and Our Games Re-Up putting together the Nottingham Video Games Convention. Make sure you get your tickets all sorted because you can see me and Tim going to be chatting away to the Gebs 24. I'm not going to tell you what we're going to be talking about. We're going to be putting some stuff together. It's going to be a lot of fun. There's lots of cool guests there. We've got people like Kev Bayless, who worked at Rare during that golden Rare era, talking about Diddy Kong Racing, GoldenEye, all of that good stuff. I've forgotten the chap's name already. The composer for Donkey Kong Country is going to be there. There's going to be a lot of content creators floating around as well. So, yeah, get yourselves up or down, depending upon where you are, to Nottingham in July. Yeah. It's going to be really good fun. Hopefully we'll have James and Jarvis. James is Jarvis, isn't he? Hopefully we'll have Jarvis James Jarvis. Hopefully we'll have James and Al on very soon to talk about the Nottingham Video Games Expo, so that we can get everybody really excited for it, because it is imminent. It is only a month and a bit away. So excellent. Well, thank you both very, very much, and we will see everybody very, very soon. So take care and good evening.